and I try to, get him to somewhat bound up a little bit to where he's holding on to me. It's like, oh, he's giving me a hug. No, you're just a warm tree. Welcome to the Driver Ranch, everybody. This is Skinwalker. This is one of our ball pythons, one of my absolute favorites. Again, I said in the previous video, you're going to hear me say that about 99% of the snakes that we have. I'm going to say that they are my favorite because they are. I believe Skinwalker to be a super pastel calico Mojave fire. Possibly. There's a lot of genes in Skinwalker, but I believe ball pythons are probably the best snake for beginners because they're usually really docile. They're very calm usually. Yes, you can still get bit. Yes, they can still strike. We have a couple that they sometimes get a little feisty, but for the most part, ball pythons are just puppy dogs, and I really enjoy ball pythons. Although recently I've been getting into colubrids more. We've had some we have 3 hog noses right now, but we've got a corn snake, and then I just recently at the last reptile show bought a California king snake. He's I believe he's a high white, so he kind of looks like a highway. He's all white, but he's got the black lines on him. I'll try to show him here in a little bit. We'll see how he is. He's still just a hatchling. He's still just a baby. And then the MBK I showed in the last video, Bigfoot. The California king doesn't have a name yet. I haven't named him. I'm not sure exactly what I'm gonna do name-wise, but I wanted to just real quick kind of talk about my upbringing with snakes and how I was raised with snakes. I'm from Florida, southern Florida, down by the Everglades, so that's where I was born. And I remember just as a kid, you just go out in the swamps and you just start grabbing any snake. Now that none of that's true. I mean, I was born in Florida, down in Naples, Florida, to be exact. But I always grew up being deathly afraid of snakes, and I couldn't even handle worms. Like worms you just find out in your backyard, I couldn't even handle those. I mean, it was terrible. So I'm going to tell you a little story about how I got into reptiles, and this is for the ones who are afraid of snakes, or deathly afraid of snakes, however you want to call it. It is possible to overcome that and start a business with it. It's a great hobby to be in. I call it a hobby because you're going to spend more money than you make most of the time, unless you're just a real big breeder and that's all you do is just breed snakes and different reptiles and stuff, and you sell them, just try to push them out the door, make some money. That's different. But if you're just getting into snakes and I might have a couple ball pythons or something, I might breed them, I don't know, you're going to be spending more than what you make. And we are speaking from experience on that, big time. So, like I said, I was born Naples, Florida, and then we'll just fast forward. Just growing up, I don't know why, I had never been around snakes. The closest I ever was to a snake would have been like if you go to the zoo and they have like a Burmese python behind the glass. I couldn't even walk over to it. I couldn't. There was no way. So I was just like, I would get this crippling pain every single time I would be anywhere near a snake. And if you would have told me 15 years ago that I'd be sitting here right now holding a snake, even this close to my face, oh, I'd have said you were insane. But there was a reptile show coming up, and my wife and our friend Jeff, they not afraid of snakes one bit. Jeff had owned a few snakes before this, and there was a reptile show coming up, and they said, hey, let's go to that show. And I said, no, no way, not happening. And somehow they convinced me to go. And I remember walking up to those front doors, and I couldn't even get in the building. There was just no going inside. I knew there were snakes behind those doors. I didn't trust them. I thought all snakes wanted to kill me no matter what. It didn't matter. I thought they all wanted to kill me no matter what. And we finally get inside, go up to the table there to buy our tickets to go in, and somebody walks by, and they have a snake around their neck. And I about lost it. I'm about to dry heave at this point, and I'm about to have to just go back outside because I can't get in this place. I can't go in there. There's no way. So we go and we start walking around, and I'm like, okay, I'm seeing a lot of these snakes are like in little tubs or enclosures or something. Not a big deal. Not a big deal at all. I'm trying to stay as close as I can to my wife because she was my safe place. She always has been, she always will be. So I'm trying to stay as close to her as I can, and I'm freaking out. I am literally freaking out. And we started going around to a few different tables, and Jeff just, I don't know, he started talking to this one guy. He ended up holding a snake. I don't even know what kind of snake it was now at the time. It was just a little snake too, one that you just hold in your hand. So we're going around and we find a table, and they had all these snakes for sale. Real nice guy that was at the table. Real nice guy at the table, and Jeff had asked him, you know, what's your most docile snake? Well, he pulls out a banana snake. It was a banana ball python. He hands it over to Jeff. Just hands it to him. I'm like, oh God, I'm ready to run. I gotta get out of here. Fight or flight, I'm flighting. I'm not fighting, I'm gone. So somehow or another, I ended up holding that snake. Not 100% sure what happened in between Jeff grabbing it because my mind was all over the place. I kind of blacked out a little bit, I feel like, because I don't remember exactly who held him after Jeff or if I got him from Jeff. I wasn't sure how it all worked out. But I at least know... Where are you going? Skinwalker loves to explore. So I'm just say I'm holding the snake. And, you know, my wife and Jeff, they're just, oh, we've got to get a picture of this. He's holding a snake? Oh, we've got to get this on camera. So they're taking some pictures. I managed to muster up a little smile because I'm freaking out. Jeff grabs another snake from the guy. It was a ball python, a lemon blast. So I asked him, I said, can I hold that snake again? And he was like, yeah, sure. So I got to hold it again, and I'm like, it's kind of nice. Like, the snake's very friendly. It's just a small banana, little baby. And I'm holding him, and I'm like, okay, like he's starting to move around a little bit now because he warmed up. You know, ball pythons being reptiles, they don't make their own body heat. So you have to give them heat. Well, as he started warming up for me holding him, that's when he started moving around a lot more. And I couldn't handle that. So I quickly gave him to my wife. She held him a little bit. I ended up with him again. Needless to say, we ended up buying that snake. And we still have him to this day. He's over here in our rack system. And if he has fully shed, I'll show him. If he hasn't, then I'm not going to, because he's I don't want to stress him out because he's got the eye caps and everything, so I'll see if he is shed or not, and maybe show you. I'll try to get a picture of me holding him at the show that day, and what he looks like now. Completely different snake. What are you doing down there? Come back up here. So, there you go. There you go. He just has been the best snake in the world, and that's what put us in touch with the breeders that we are really good friends with now. And you've actually seen him on this channel. The owner of that store that owns the show, I did a quick little podcast style video with him. There's more on his channel, but one of them is on my channel here. It's a small business talk, small business podcast, and I think it was like maybe 2 weekends later, we were at their store. We were getting a feeder rat, and that's when it started. We were buying almost a snake a week for a long time. And I could tell you this much. It can be addicting when you buy your first snake. Especially if you get a really good one. They're the best. And then next thing you know, you're buying another one. And then you're buying another one. And then, you start getting into buying a boa, or you might kind of get into the more snippy ones like a green tree python that are just known to be aggressive for whatever reason. That's just how they are. You might get into some of the slightly venomous ones, the hog noses, and just kind of work your way through different types of snakes. And if you grow a business out of it, it's real easy to do. You literally just, if you have a male and you have a female, and you know what morphs you're dealing with and everything else, and you breed them together, which I'll do a whole separate video on breeding at some point, because there's a right way and a wrong way, and you don't want to stress your snakes out too much. So there's a certain time, certain way that it is recommended to do, and that's what we follow, and we've had good success with it, so that's what we do. But snakes have been a huge part of my life now for a couple of weeks. Did you just hear that? I've had you for a couple of years. Snakes and reptiles have been a big part of not just my life, but my family's lives as well. But I just can't believe I was ever so afraid of them. I could not stand to even think about a snake. And, my wife and Jeff they'd send me a picture, and they're just like, oh, you've got to see this. You've got to look at this. And so, oh, what is it? What is it? I open it up, and it's a snake. And I scream, because I can't stand it. I can't stand the thought of it. But snakes, they're not going to judge you. They're not going to make fun of you. They're not going to hurt your feelings. They always say that snakes don't have emotions, and that they don't bond with their owners or their keepers, however you want to call it. I 100% disagree. You can't tell me that snakes don't have emotions. They all have different personalities. If they want to be aggressive and they want to strike at you to try to get you to go away, that's an emotion. If they just want to hang out like this right here, he's just being all chill, he don't care, that's an emotion. They know that they're captive bred in a way, like they know that they're not out in the wild because they live in an enclosure. They know the boundaries of that. They know when they see us, it's usually either it's going to be feeding time, cleaning time, or holding time. I mean, that's what it is. And if they don't ever experience anything negative from you, they shouldn't give you anything negative either. If you treat them right, if you treat them with respect, and you love them and everything else, they seem to do the same. And, for me, it's kind of tough because like if I take Skinwalker here and I wrap him around my neck and I try to, you know, get him to somewhat bound up a little bit to where he's holding on to me. It's like, oh, he's giving me a hug. No, you're just a warm tree at that point. Now, Skinwalker is one that I would trust to have around my neck. With him wanting to explore in the way that he is, not so much right now, but normally I could just go about my day with him around my neck and he'll hang out there. But he's wanting to explore, so this wouldn't be the time to do that because he just wants to go all over the place. And this is good for him. It's good enrichment for them to get out and be able to explore and smell and stretch and everything else. But overall, I am extremely happy that I went to that reptile show because it has opened a whole new world to me of reptiles and just snakes in general. I didn't realize how great it was. And like I said, they don't judge you. You know what I mean? Like, they're not like other humans. They're not like humans at all. I don't know why I even started to say. I'm watching him on the screen, and I don't know what I was saying there. But snakes are great. I absolutely love snakes now, and I'm very happy that I went to the show and that we ended up buying our first snake there. And it definitely blew up there for a while, and we thought, well, let's start breeding. You know, let's just see what happens. So we did a couple pairs, we got a couple clutches of eggs, and I had to learn on the fly. You know, had to learn on the fly about incubation and what to do with the eggs and how to handle those properly. And we've had successful clutches, and it has been really nice. So, what are you thinking? Are you thinking anything? You're just one of the best. You know that? One of the best. Well, this was just a little snippet to kind of tell you about how this all started and how I was growing up just deathly afraid of snakes. You can too. If you're afraid of snakes, sometimes all you gotta do is just hold one. It gets easier, especially when you see it every day. You feed them, you love them, you take care of them, you give them water, you hold them. Like Skinwalker, he doesn't look at me as food. He's not gonna look at me and go, yeah, I could eat that, I could take that down. No, he does not look at me like that. The only time he would ever strike or bite me is if I scared him and he was trying to be a little defensive about it. But even then, like, we have completely got him rid of his head shy. A lot of snakes, if you get anywhere near their head, they freak out. They're just flipping all around and everything. Not Skinwalker. We work with all of our snakes to where the head shy, we could just pet them lightly and gently on the head. I say lightly and gently because they have very soft heads. And just underneath that is their brain. So you don't want to cause any problems. But I could get right up on him, right up in his face. He don't care. He don't care. I could do whatever I want to him. That's how we like our snakes. That way they're not flinching. And sometimes you'll be holding them and they'll be moving around and they'll scare themselves. They might bump their head with their own tail and just freak out. You got to be ready for that. You don't want to drop them. You don't want to squeeze them. You don't want to hurt them. So you gotta learn all that stuff. And it comes with time. It definitely does. It comes with time and different types of snakes and everything else. So. All right. Well, say bye to Skinwalker. Appreciate you all tuning in. Try to get some more out to you here. And I'll see you on the next one. Have a good one.